This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
A woman missing for more than 60 years has been found alive and well by cold case detectives in the United States.
60 years?
Audrey Backerberg disappeared aged 20 from her home in Reedsburg, Wisconsin on July 7, 1962, and despite years-long efforts from investigators, she was never found. That is, until now. I love these stories.
Where was she living? Because often when you hear a story like this, they've quit life in the sense that they've left the city and they're living in the woods and they've got a cabin or a cave somewhere, Fitz.
No, well, this is the 60s. So this is the news story. She's 82 years of age now, but she obviously had her reasons.
I told Audrey that I would keep it private. She had her reasons for leaving, and we discussed a lot of things.
The Sauk County detective says an abusive husband may have played a role in Backerberg's initial decision to leave, but we may never know what made her stay away for more than 6 decades.
So she got married at the age of 15. She had 2 children by the time she was 20 years of age. So this is an unbelievable story. Obviously, she was in a relationship she didn't want to be in, and she's just packed up and said, I've got to get out of here. You can imagine the trauma that she would have gone through, leaving children.
Oh, yeah, the
but
kids.
To get away from an abusive relationship, but then just to be on the run, like just to...
Yeah, where do you go and how do you survive getting through day by day, not leaving a trace of where you've been?
It's crazy.
Or that you even exist. I mean, some people did this or attempted to do this, Fitz, when September 11 happened. They were in bad relationships and people thought they were in the tower, therefore they'd been killed, and they saw it as the opportunity just to disappear off the face of the earth. Do you know, my nan lived next to a lady, and the lady was old. She was in her 90s. But when she was a young woman, she had 5 kids. And on Christmas Day, the husband decided to pack his stuff up and took off out the front door. And she continued to live there with the 5 kids for the rest of her life.
Well, this happens more than you think, 13, 24, 10, if you do know a story. BJ's father was a bit the same as well. They sort of, her mother and her father the relationship broke down, and he just packed his stuff up and went far north Queensland and fixed boats, and left the whole family behind.
To be able to walk out like that. Donna in Padstow Heights. Hey, Don.
Hi, Fitzy and Whipper, how are you?
Good. Thanks for calling the show. You've got a story about your husband, do you?
Yeah, my second husband. Yeah, I was married for 23 years, had 3 children. One day after tutoring, I came home. He completely cleared out. No forwarding address, no note, no nothing. And I was like gobsmacked. It was a week he turned 45, so I was thinking, there you go, he's probably having a midlife crisis. But no word from him for months and months and months.
Yeah,
years later, he's living out young. But he left me for someone else. I eventually found out why, but, oh, my God, at the time I was just like, cry me a river.
So how long do you reckon, Donna, before you had any understanding of where he was or any contact?
It's about 5 months.
Wow. God.
None of his sisters, he was one of 8 children, none of his sisters, no one would tell me where he was. I thought, what if he's upset? What if he's got depression? I was worried about him, and he was, found someone else. Bye.
That's the thing. Did go to the police?
Donna, what I want to know, because this would be, me personally, did you ever get to see him face to face again and just ask, why did you do it?
No, he's never answered the why, but we are amicable. Like, eventually he wanted, half the house, half the money, anything and everything. And we eventually did get contact. But for those first initial few weeks, I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? What the? Like, I was just gobsmacked, and I cried a lot. Of course. And I've known there was someone else, and I didn't know where he was. I didn't know. That was the hardest thing, not knowing where they are. Like, it's just
exactly.
What the?
That's horrible.
Oh my God, Donna.
I love it. Carly in Penrith. Who was the family member?
Good morning, guys. It was my granddad.
What happened, Carly?
So my dad was about 7, and him and his siblings went off to school one day. Dad went off to work, and their dad just never came home. So they got no idea where he was. He was missing for years and years, like 7 years. They'd done police searches. They lived in a sort of country town in northwest New South Wales, so they'd done police searches of the property and whatnot, not a trace. And then one day they had a family friend who was up at the Gold Coast who rings my nan and said, I found him. And they were just at a club and he had a whole new family.
Oh, you're kidding.
And 4 kids, and the kids were actually older than the time he'd been missing. So,
right. So he was running 2 families and then decided to choose one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And he changed his name, so...
Oh, my God.
Carly, did anyone confront him?
So the gentleman that saw him went up to him and approached him, and he just pretended that he didn't know him.
Oh, that is just heartbreaking,
because
isn't
the
it?
only reason someone might do it would be if you're in a situation, maybe you're caught up with the wrong side of the law and there was bikies and they said, we're going to get your family or whatever it was.
I've done it.
So you get yourself out of town.
Yeah.
But to start
It's
another
very odd.
family, Carly, what a story.
But see,
Thank you.
Carly, I would have in the back of his mind, he would have thought, it's going to catch up with me one day. They will find me. There's no way I can get away from this.
No.
You think
that
so,
is
and especially being from such a small area, like everyone sort of knew who he was, and
Carl,
fascinating
thank you.
story, Carly. Thank you. We've got someone called Honey from Liverpool. Good morning, Honey.
Hi, I've packed up everything and just vanished. I'm not on social media. I just one day went, I've had enough, quit my job, left my husband. I have 3 children, and I was like, after a few days, I went to the school and said, look, I'm leaving. This is what we're doing. You can either stay with your dad or you can come with me.
Oh, honey, how old were the kids when you made this decision?
One's 13 and 14 and 6.
Right.
And they all said, oh, yeah, I want to come with you. But we just keep moving and having adventures. We're just living off the grid, going to different campgrounds, exploring.
Right. Honey, was there a main reason, why you decided? Was it all just too much, or you fell out of love with hubby? Or...
Oh, no, I was out of love with him the first moment I met him.
Yeah. So, honey, have you seen him since? How long have you been on the run for?
Probably a year.
Right. And do you ever speak with him? I mean, he is the father
never.
of the kids.
Never.
Do they speak with him?
No.
Is that unfair to him?
I don't. If he was a good dad, and I know guys will come at me for this, but literally, I understand he has a right. Understand that, but literally, when he would just call in sick 24 hours a day, all the time, and then not look after his kids. Yeah. You get to a point where it's like, come on. And it just was like Groundhog Day, guys. It was just so we've gone from one end of Australia to another, just doing odd jobs because I don't get government help.
No, honey, this is an unbelievable. So you're living off the grid. What about your family? Were you close to your family?
I have not seen my family in 15 years.
This is crazy.
And, honey, are you worried that the kids might resent the lifestyle that you've chosen for them?
No, they actually, I have a conversation with them,
Yeah, I bet.
I'm we're homeschooling them. I'm homeschooling them. We're exploring stuff like that. We're trying to get them passports so we can actually go back to the country I'm from. But it's that nervous, am I going to go through the airport and be dinged?
This is an amazing story. Honey, is there somewhere that you've been to that you could see yourself living in? Is there a beautiful spot in Australia that you've been to and you go, look, we could stay here and we could settle here?
I'm petrified of the snakes, but I like the sunshine. So the north end of Australia was really beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
And I didn't do it, I didn't leave my husband due to abuse, due to anything like that. It was just the fact that I was doing everything. I was working 2 jobs. Yep. He didn't even manage to work one.
No motivation.
We had 3 kids, and he had so much depression, and it was always my love language was I'm a worker and I'm a doer.
Yep.
His love language was he needed to be touched all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and as a woman you gain weight and
Of course. Honey, that's a huge move. Like, it's a drastic move, but I mean, if the adventure is going okay and the kids are happy and the education is continuing,
I've always been open and honest and stuff like that, and said, look, if you ever want to go see him, go for it. I don't.
Yeah.
But
are you open to find somebody else, honey?
Oh no, not for a while, not for a long time. I like to look.
Sure.
But who doesn't like to look?
Do you know what I mean, sister? Yeah.
Well, honey doesn't go off, that's for sure. That's the only thing that doesn't go off.
Pour some sugar on me.
There's no due date on honey.
Mm-hmm. Honey, thank you for your call. What a story. God, I didn't think we'd get a personal one like that.
It's a fascinating story. What a huge...
Big call.
Big call. Do you know what when honey jumps into that car for the first time with the kids and you drive off and you go, this is it. Like, what is going through your mind?
Turning out of your street.
Because you don't have any money. Like she said, I don't have any money.
Off the grid.
And I am just... I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. Where am I going to go? How am I going to feed these kids?
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.